and the Ultimate Fighting Championship is right back here at the Bell Center. First of all, before we bring out maybe as special a guest as all of you could expect to have here, and by the way, what a great turnout, man. This is awesome. Thank you so much for your support. You Canadians are crazy mothers. Back when I was doing hockey for ESPN, I went and did a Canucks game, came home with a wife, so I'm up here a lot. I love it. First of all, last year, as you guys know, right here in this building, perhaps one of the most magical nights in UFC history. I'm sure a lot of you are here. I'm sure tomorrow night is going to be a lot of the same. And I always say this when I'm able to have the honor of addressing you guys that are really the core of our fans, the UFC Fight Club. And that is just thank you. Because without the grassroots fans that we have here, and yeah, next we'll be in Toronto, and then we'll be in Vancouver, we might even end up in Nova Scotia. But you know what, you guys in this province, you were the ones that brought the UFC to Canada, and appropriately so. And last year, we gave you one of the greatest stories with your true adopted son of mixed martial arts. Official weigh-ins are at 6 o'clock, of course. It's UFC 97 Redemption. The middleweight title is on the line tomorrow night. Anderson the Spider Silva trying to break the UFC record with 9 consecutive victories. He would go to 9-0 if he wins. He would also have another title defense as he takes on ultra-talented Brazilian Thales Leites. That is our main event tomorrow. Of course, there's a lot of Canadian boys on the fight card. Jason McDonald and Mark Bocek and Sam Stout and obviously Krzysztof Soshinsky from the province of Manitoba. And the return of the Crow, David Lawaza. In addition to those great fighters, the co-main event of the evening, Mauricio Shogun Hua against none other than the Iceman, Chuck Liddell. The Q&A for Fight Club works like this, guys, and I have a feeling we won't have to say much. You've got microphones set up right here and right here. Our special guest is here for you. And he is French-Canadian, the greatest pound-for-pound fighter, many believe, I'm sure, in this building, in the world today. And last year, in this building, he enjoyed the greatest victory of his mixed martial arts career, avenging the loss to Matt Serra, once again becoming the welterweight champion right here in his home of Quebec, right here in Montreal at the Bell Center. Take a look at the big screen as we get set to welcome the UFC welterweight champion of the world, the French-Canadian, George Rush St-Pierre. Ladies and gentlemen, Montreal's own George St-Pierre. Again, this is how it works. We're going to go, we're going to have questions back and forth. George is a little bit under the weather, but I'm sure he'll work along and get through this great hour. First and foremost, Georgie, thank you for being here. And as we say again, last year, Matt Serra, this building, can you relive the moment for us again for all the fans here today, how special that night was?
Well, it was the best moment of my career so far, and thank you everybody for the support. Merci beaucoup tout le monde.
You know, obviously, you're a humble champion. You're very disciplined to the sport. You don't take anything for granted. But, George, when you look out here and you see all these great fans, about 99.9% of them absolutely love you. Maybe there's one Matt Serra fan. I don't know. How great does that make you feel as a fighter, as an athlete, and as a person?
Well, they gave me a lot of motivation, and it made me feel good, you know. Especially when I fought here in Montreal, that's my hometown, so it was a dream come true.
Last year, obviously, Jonathan Goulet was on the card. Patrick Cote's probably commentating again. But your good friend, David Loiseau, back in the UFC tomorrow night. How about that?
Yeah. David Loiseau, he looked sharper than he ever been. And I know he's going to do very well. I'm very confident that he's going to win in a fashion way. And also, don't forget Dennis Kang. Yeah. Dennis Kang now lives in Montreal, and he's part of the team too. He's a good friend of mine.
Dennis Kang, obviously, born in France, lives in Vancouver now, but has spent the majority of his time training for this fight with you. Disappointed in his UFC debut, obviously Dennis was, but are we going to see the real Dennis Kang tomorrow night?
You know what? Sometimes a loss, it's the best thing can happen for an athlete. It made you change, it made you become better than you were in the past. And I think that's what happened with Dennis Kang. It's probably the best thing ever happened to him, and he's going to come back stronger next time.
I remember there was this one really good French-Canadian fighter who got beat by this kid from Long Island, and he said the same thing, and I don't think you've lost since, have you? Since you said the best thing that ever happened to me was Matt Serra.
Exactly. When I lost to Matt Serra, I became a different fighter. I changed the way I was training, the way I was looking up to a fight, you know, and I changed my whole thing, the mentality, everything, and it made me grow as a person and also as a fighter as well.
Let's open it up to our great Fight Club fans. We'll start over at this microphone. Any questions for George Rush St-Pierre? Go ahead, please.
Bonjour, George.
Bonjour.
Comment ça va?
Ça va très bien, merci.
Okay, I want to ask you a question. What's your favorite curse word? Can be in French, like tabarnak.
Tabarnak.
You just said it.
It's tabarnak, eh?
Or I learned a new one the other day, blood savage.
That's really bad. That's not good. But you know what? You instead of saying tabarnak, you can say tabarnan. So it's like you take off the K at the end and to put an N. So it's not as bad, you know? It's like in English when you say shit, you say shoot. It's the same thing. Tabarnan. So it's not as bad. It's better like that.
Great, thank you very much.
When
I'm going to be there, UFC 100, to cheer you on against Allen. Cheering you on. Good luck. Bonne chance.
Merci beaucoup.
UFC 100, obviously, in July. The Mandalay Bay Event Center. George will defend his welterweight title against Thiago the Pitbull Alves. We'll get to that a little later. When I was with the Minnesota Wild and Jacques Lemaire was the head coach, Mario Tremblay was the assistant, I heard tabarnak a lot. Especially in the first couple of years when we were an expansion team.
It's a very
I even knew what that meant.